used to drive Frank Williams, and Frank used to have Teddy's car full of luggage. Great big tape recorders and goodness knows what, and books and leather suitcases, and you couldn't see out of the car, and Teddy's only luggage was a little bag like this with his toothpaste and toothbrush in it, and that was it, because he couldn't get anything else in the car. And I actually found going up the A1, which he used to turn off there, I think at Baldock, was it? Did we turn off Baldock and go through Royston, something like that? And there was a queue of traffic, and eventually I got outside this queue of traffic, and the car that was holding them up was Teddy driving, with Frank with a great big map over the windscreen, trying to find out where they were going. And they were doing about 20 miles an hour on the motorway, which didn't help very much. They eventually didn't turn off at Baldock. I don't know where they went to. They turned up hours later at the Bell, with Frank having a go at Ted, saying, "Oh, you are Teddy. I can't understand you sometimes." And Teddy said, "Oh, I didn't know you went the map, Frank. You really checked the map." But when they got there, of course, it was, you know, it was the usual thing. As we all got, Jimmy used to arrive, and he would immediately ask people if they'd brought any medicines with them, because he always had a medicine box with him. Now, I've got a list of the things here which I remember that he used to bring, and these are only just a few of the things. He had sleeping tablets for a start. He had some diarrhea liquid, if you got diarrhea. He had malaria tablets, and he also had some ointment for crocodile bites, which he'd brought back from the Far East, which is, you know, quite, because I can't remember us ever being bitten by a crocodile, but he had them anyway. And the breakfast, of course, well, the breakfasts were another thing, because Harold here, I know, will remember the times that he came in and said, "The coach is ready, gentlemen, in 5 minutes." We were half sort of dressed. We used to finish dressing out on the location, and it was extraordinary, because nobody seemed to take any notice. I mean, the breakfast is very important. Never mind that we were being watched by 18 million people a week. That was, you know, well, so they can watch if they want to. We want our breakfast. And Arthur, when he was asked, you know, what we'd have, he said, "I'd like some ham off the bone. Have a ham off the bone, please. If you haven't got any ham off the bone, I'll have a kipper, but I want the tail with it as well. And I want some nice crispy bread." All this would go on, and just as we were about to go, Harold would come in a second time. Poor man had been rushing about, trying to gather people together, and John Norrie would say, hold on, I've only had one cup of tea, and that was cold." I mean, it was extraordinary. Then you get out to the coach, and Clive would then not have his boots. "I don't know where my boots are. I don't know where I left my boots. I don't know whether they're back in my room." "All right, Clive, somebody go back in the room." How we ever got to locations, I'll never know, but we did somehow. Jimmy will tell you about Arthur's little problem, if he's going to mention it. Are you going to mention, Jim, Arthur's little problem, or shall I mention it for you? Really? Oh. Well, Arthur used to get to the coach and then say, "Oh dear, you just hold on a moment, I just go to the lavatory." Off he'd go, and he was there for about a quarter of an hour. Come back, and Jimmy said to him, "Well, I'll take you, the coach is gone, Arthur, I'll take you by car." So he did, and he said, "You've got problems, Arthur?" It was a constipation every now and again, mumbled a bit. And Jimmy said, "Well, I tell you what, you want to start taking all bran. That's very good in the morning, you know, it keeps you sort of regular." I tried, what is it, like sawdust and stuff, isn't it? Jimmy said, "No, I think it's worth it." So he did try it, and I think a couple of weeks later he said to Jimmy, he said, "You know something, all bran has completely changed my life." It's extraordinary, isn't it? If only the all bran people knew, Arthur could have made a fortune. All bran has changed my life. Well, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. There is one story which I am asked so many times to repeat. I will tell one thing which I think Ian probably knows about, and this is absolutely true, that I was at Broadcasting House about a couple of years ago, I think it was, going back to Waterloo Station, and I'd got an evening standard. I was in the back of the cab wanting to read, and the driver said, "I've got all the videos, you know. I'm a member of the society." Oh, I said, fine. I thought, oh God, there's going to be a conversation here that I don't want to hear. I'm going to get on and read the paper. Anyway, got on a little bit further, and he said, "Yes, I've got all the videos." "Yes, well, yeah, you're quite funny in some of them." I said, oh, thank you very much indeed. Very nice of you. I carried on. There was another long silence until we got nearly to Waterloo. He said, of course, you can't make any more because you're all dead now, aren't you? That's absolutely true. Is it not true, Ian? It's true.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause to Mr. Jimmy Perry and the Dad's Army crew. Thank you.